Hey man, can you hear me?
Yeah, man, how's it going?
Uh, I'm struggling a bit today, but I'm here.
You okay? What's going on?
Just lack of sleep and extreme exhaustion.
Are you sick? There's a bunch of shit going around.
No, no, I'm not sick. Just literally lack of sleep.
Yeah, yeah, that's that's me with a baby. It's like I was just thinking the same thing. I don't just call me taking a big yawn. I'm just like, oh man, it's tough to be in prep and like as an amateur where you're still working and you still have to be a dad and still have to do all that bullshit.
Dude, I haven't even been to the gym in almost 3 months now.
Oh, geez, looked like you were going
Like
for a
I
while.
said,
Last time I talked to you, you were kind of getting back into it.
well, I was.
Just busy or what's
I've
going
got
on?
myself to what?
Oh, sorry, I was just saying you're just busy or what's been going on?
Oh boy. So probably 4 months ago, yeah, probably 4 months ago, I had a little altercation with a guy at the YMCA. And I actually got kicked. It was my first time ever getting kicked out of the gym. He got kicked out too. And really, if I would have taken it to the staff, he would have just gotten kicked out and I would have been fine. But the thing is, man, I'm not okay. Like, I'm a very confrontational type person. So if you do something to piss me off, I don't want to slap on the wrist. Like, I don't want the gym management to slap him on the wrist. No, I want to handle it my way.
The
And
why?
the thing is, like, this was something that could have been handled with a simple apology, which is what I was expecting from him because I confronted him a little bit aggressively. And an apology would have been fine for his own wrongdoings, but instead he doubled down and lied. The fucking gym had the incident on
So
camera
what
that
happened?
night.
Explain what was the incident?
I'm not gonna go. I don't want to go into it too
I
much
got to
right
know if I got
now
to be on
because,
your side or not. I'm sure you're in the right, but I'm just curious.
well, let's say this: just because you're old, don't mean you're innocent.
Yeah.
And just because you're old and halfway disabled, don't mean you're innocent. I know a lot of people that would hear this would probably be like, oh, Justin's a bully. He's wrong. He's whatever. So they can say what they want to say. But however, if you're an old man, you still have the same, you're still going to respect me the same just because you're disabled.
Yeah.
So if you're going to go waving a cane in somebody's face and bitching and raising your voice and cussing, I'm not the guy that's going to take it.
Was he
So
trying to get
needless to
you off of a piece
say,
of equipment or what?
do what?
He was trying to get you
It
off of a
wasn't
piece of
even
equipment?
me. It wasn't even me. I had to basically stand up on a situation that when I confronted him, I expected him to apologize. Instead, he doubled down and acted like he didn't do anything. And I escalated it really fucking quickly. And I had a crowd around us at the gym. And to be fair, I'm not gonna lie, this is gonna sound bad on my part. This man was probably 75 to 80. And I don't know if he had a knee surgery or a knee replacement, but he started raising his voice and he kind of like puffed his chest up at me a little bit. And I was just thinking, you know what? Come over here and touch me. That's all I want you to do. Physically, because any unwanted touch is considered assault.
Yeah.
So I was going to knock him out. I was going to knock a 75-year-old man out in front of an entire crowd.
Are you on
Just so
anything
much
right
as
now?
he
You
put
weren't
him
on
down.
any shit?
Do what?
You weren't on any shit at the time?
No, no, I was just pissed. Like I was fully, but the thing is, I know how to control my emotions. I didn't want to control them. And like in a physical altercation where people get like, they lose, you know, how people say they get mad and they black out.
Yeah.
I don't. I know exactly what I'm doing when I'm angry. So my intentions, when he starts raising his voice, I was like, okay, it's going to go down like this. Huh? I knew eventually I would probably have 30 to 45 seconds before staff was going to come running. And I knew that. And I was like, just let him touch me because if he touches me, I'm going to hit him just once. I'm not going to beat the shit out of him, but I'm going to
Like
hit
what
him
kind of
once.
what, are you thinking about this? You're like gonna like really throw a solid one. You're like, I'll just get a
I'm going
little
to throw a
jab.
solid, but he's going to hurt us. No, no, no jab. I'm going to put him to sleep. I'm going to straight up break his jaw off if I could. And then if he wants to press charges, he can press them. And then I'll press them right back because you touched me first.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I could arguably claim self defense against a 75-year-old man, but what I can do is if he wants to press assault charges, I can press assault charges back. It wouldn't
Yeah.
be aggravated assault because it ain't like I'm beating the hell out of him
Yeah.
or anything like that. But like again, it's just blatant disrespect. And then you're gonna like try to get in my face about it when I confront you. That ain't gonna happen.
Well, yeah, sometimes these kind of people like that. I've been in gym environments. I worked at gyms my whole life. You see that where it's like they're just such victims that they're like angry and they feel like they're entitled to like extra because the world was maybe not nice to them for some reason or whatever. It's like,
He's been a
yeah,
little snarky with me in the past. Like that's not the first time I've had I don't want to say a situation, but there's been a time he tried to like push me on something. Like I had just gotten started warming up on the machine, and he was like, more or less like, how long are you going to be? I want this. And I said, I'll be as fucking long as I want to be. If you want to talk to me like that, I'll sit here all fucking day. Like, I'm not going to sit here and listen. Like, I
yeah,
don't, like, I pay a membership like everybody else does. So me and him didn't like each other from the beginning. But that's not why I stopped working out. Like, I was kind of having a little bit of like a precursor to an issue, so to say. And it's just simply overtraining. And I hate to say this, but like, I'm at a point in my life now, so I'm 37, and I realize I can't do the things I did in my early 20s. Like
it's a
I
lot of
can't go
volume.
7 days a week with like 50 working sets, and that's what I like to do, man. That's like where my pat. Like when I'm in the gym and I'm training, it all feels good. The only problem is afterwards when that fatigue and also the joint pain, the tendon pain starts to catch up to me. I was dealing with my left knee, kind of wonky. So I haven't probably trained legs in like 4 to 5 months now.
Oh man.
But obviously, the YMCA actually stood by me on the altercation, but they said, due to me acting hostile, they had to let me go too. So we both got kicked out. I was like, that's fine. Like, we have a gym on every corner here. It's cool.
Yeah.
I really don't care. So I started training at the other gym, which I already had a gym membership. Literally went the next day. Like, it wasn't a big deal to me. But then both elbows got sore. My elbows getting sore. I started doing some sciatica. Both knees was getting sore, and it was to the point where my workouts were no longer enjoyable.
Yeah.
The
Fuck yeah.
last workout I did was a chest workout, and I kind of tweaked my shoulder a little bit. And that tweak lasted only about 2 weeks. But I said, you know what? Just fuck it. Like, you're 37, you're not competing, you're not trying to compete. You don't make money by looking a certain way anymore. You just need to heal. That way you feel good again. I had to just accept that because I've never taken. I think I had maybe like, yeah, it was longer than this, but like in 2017 when I had to throw in the towel again for the same shoulder, that was a little bit of a longer break, but that was the only two. This is the second longest break I've ever had in my life away from the gym. And I can physically look in the mirror and I'm like, man, shit. Like, I hate it. Like a lot of people probably still say I'm big, but like to me, it's just like, I just feel like out of shape. You know, like when you don't do anything, you feel lazy as hell.
Yeah.
And I will say this: my cardiovascular endurance, technically my everything, like my muscularity, my endurance. I'm someone who can gain it really, really fast, but I can lose it really, really fast as well. And considering I was never really a guy with stamina unless I trained for stamina, so I'm going to be doing a yellowfin tuna trip tomorrow,
Yeah.
fishing.
Nice.
And I already went ahead and set up my tackle so that I'm going to fight the fish from the rod holder. And I'm actually debating on bringing the electric reel because I don't think I can fight a fish for 45 minutes.
Well, you
I
don't want to
think
miss
it'll
out
take
on a really
time.
good one, you know?
Do what?
You don't want to miss out like on a really good one, you know? It's just
There's
a
gonna
little
be
too
like
much.
7 of us on the boat. So like if I have to pass the rod to someone, I can. But like my physical endurance, like let's just say theoretically that old guy was not old and he was young. I'd have to take him out in like 30 seconds. Otherwise, I'm gonna be gassed. That's how bad it is right now because I haven't physically done anything taxing in like 4 months.
How long do you like what's the longest you fight with a fish? Like how long does that last sometimes?
Depends. There's a lot of factors goes into that. Like it depends on what kind of fish, what kind of tackle, and obviously how big it is.
Like the longer ones. Like what's like the toughest one you've had?
Um, I've never caught like a bluefin tuna or anything like that. We do have bluefins in Florida, but it's not a common catch. But bluefins can get huge, and you
Yeah.
could be there hours on bluefins.
Shit.
But
So
yellowfins,
you're just cranking this manually or do if it's something that big you have an automatic thing that does it?
no. They manual crank them. Some
Yeah.
people use electrics, but most of the time those bluefin tuners are manual. Well, at least that's the videos that I see, anyways.
Yeah.
But the longest I had probably about a 2 hour long fight on a shark one time. And that was ridiculous. I mean, that was like a 400-pound shark.
Damn.
So that kicked my ass. Like to be fair about it, if I had it to do over again, I would have just cut the line and just said, screw it. Like, I don't want to waste the time or the energy doing this.
What do you do with it? Can you even eat it? What do you do with the shark?
I made an attempted effort at eating that one because that was my first one of that species. I was like, okay, I'm going to try to eat this thing, and I wish I could. At the time, I felt bad about killing it. I mean, it was fully legal to do what I
Yeah,
did.
yeah,
Um, I felt kind of bad because I was like, all this meat's going to go to waste because this thing tastes like shit.
yeah.
Like it tasted horrible. Like I will never eat a shark ever again. But this one, I've heard the smaller ones are better, but I'm just to the point now I don't care. I'm just not ever eating. It was like a one-time deal for me. Like it tasted that bad that I won't touch it ever again. But I don't feel bad about killing it because it was a bull shark and we are overran by bull sharks. Like I know like if the right people hears this comment, they're gonna or hears this in this video, they're gonna flood the comment section of how like tagging PETA and just like all the fishermen and whatnot. But we have a shark problem in Florida. I'm not saying that sharks are thriving worldwide. They're definitely thriving in Florida, both the Gulf and the Atlantic. And they're thriving so much for anyone who wants to argue this. They passed a bill called Shark Act of 2025. And basically what it states is we're going to do something about it. And I know what that something is going to be. It's going to be opening up long lining for commercial shark finning. So they're going to probably fin the sharks and then sell them to China,
I was about
most
to say
likely.
that's what they do, right? The shark fin soup or whatever. What do they do with the fins? Is it like they
What do you
try
mean?
to get their dick hard? Is it one of those things that's supposed to make their
I
dick
don't know what
work?
it does.
Like the
I
rhinos?
actually
Everything
read
for them is
about it
about their
one time.
dick.
I read about it one time of like how to make shark fin soup. And dude, it's got like 80 ingredients, and I couldn't even read half of them. I'm like, maybe not 80, but it's legit got like 20 plus ingredients, 20 to 30 ingredients to do this. So I'm like, I'm not going to spend like $300 on ingredients just to make one meal that I'm probably never going to use ever again.
Yeah.
So that because I was like that exact same shark that I killed, I kept the fins as well because I was going to use them. And I'm like, when I saw like what was going to be involved in making that, I was like, I'm not interested in doing this shit.
Are
So,
you?
needless to say, it all went to waste, and I feel bad that the meat went to waste, but I don't feel bad about thinning the herd a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what are you gonna do? I do you watch like Steve Rinella at all? You know him, Meat Eater or whatever. He's real big on like eating everything that he kills, and like I think he killed like a coyote one time, and he fucking tried to make some.
Oh, okay. I didn't recognize the name, but I
Yeah,
know
you
the
know what I'm talking
show of what you're
about?
talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah. Because that's like a
For me,
big
I
thing. Like,
mean, I'm not going to eat like a coyote. I'm not going to eat a possum or a raccoon or anything like that. But for me, like the shark was, I just wanted to try it, and I did try it, and now I'm just like, I'm not harvesting any more sharks. Like, I wish half of them were dead in Florida, anyways, because we have too many of them. But I'm not going to take 2 hours, 3 hours. Plus, it's so exhausting catching one that big that, like, even if you put it in the rod holder and you don't actually stand up and fight it, even on the rod holder, dude, you're tired. Like my day, I'm cooked. I don't want to fish no more. Like you catch one of them, 500 pounds, you're done. Like you don't want to fuck with that anymore. So for me, it's like cut the line. Usually they cut themselves free with their teeth,
yeah.
but it wasn't an accidental catch. I purposely targeted this shark and I
Oh,
used steel leader, so he couldn't get away. But usually they'll just cut your line, or if I'm just like fuck it, I'll lock the drag all the way up and I'll force the line to break.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
I've always heard the rumor that the hooks will rust out. I don't know if that's true or not true, but quite frankly, I don't care.
Yeah, you mean like out of like their mouth and stuff, out of their gills or whatever?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I've seen like divers and stuff when they'll go down, they'll get close to the sharks and they'll zoom in. It's not uncommon to see 3, 4, 5, 10, 15 hooks in their mouth.
Do they
They're
feel
still
pain?
eating.
They're like one of these species that don't feel pain, right?
That's a controversial subject. I've heard people say they do. I've heard people say they don't. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm not doing it to them on purpose. It's
Yeah.
just, it's part of it. I mean, it's like when we drive down the road, we kill insects with our car, right? We're not trying to kill every beetle and fly in the planet, but we do when we drive. So when you're fishing, you do get bycatch and, they get hooks in their mouth. I mean, I don't know what else to say to people about that.
What are you going after tomorrow?
Tuna, yellowfin.
Nice. When you get that, do you just do it like sashimi or what? Do you cook it at
I
all?
actually eat it raw.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'll do sashimi or sushi. I don't cook it at all. I never make a yellowfin steak.
Yeah.
Every
Yeah.
time I try to make a steak, it usually comes out bad. It doesn't come out right. So,
Yeah, you're supposed to do it more raw. I always hear. I don't. I have a client. She'll go down to her husband will go down to San Diego, and I guess they've got some pretty good ones down there.
okay.
Like
Yeah,
that
they
way,
do.
they'll bring me some.
You guys get a lot of, you guys have a better tuna fishery than we do because you
Yeah,
guys
there's a
have
lot.
bluefin and yellowfin.
Yeah,
I know if you go north, you guys get albacore, which that's like the pack tuna. Like that's like
yeah.
poor quality. I
You get that
wouldn't
in a
fly to
can.
California to catch
Yeah,
do what?
you can get that in a can. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I can buy that for like pennies on the dollar. I'm not gonna fly to
yeah,
California to catch an albie. That's not really on my bucket list.
yeah. Well, that's cool. Do you like charter a boat, or do you have a boat? How do you get out there? You
No,
have
I
a
have my
buddy?
own boat.
Yeah. So man, this shit gets
I'm
expensive,
not
huh?
taking mine tomorrow. I'm going on another guy's boat. There's gonna be 6 or 7 of us. He's got my boat is what I would say the most ideal boat for like just family, 1 or 2, 3 people. My buddy's got a boat that's he can take 10 to 15 people on this boat if he wanted to.
Yeah,
It's also worth about $1.5 million.
yeah, exactly.
So yeah,
That's got to be an expensive hobby.
add another zero for what I have.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, even just I'm assuming the lines and all that shit are super expensive too.
So everything on that boat we have is expensive.
Is
Yeah.
that your only hobby? Is that the only hobby you can really afford besides bodybuilding stuff?
I wouldn't say the only hobby that I can afford. It's the only hobby that I have a whole lot of interest in. Like I mean, I'm always the type of guy. I'll try anything once. I'll go hiking. I'll go here. I'll go there. I'll eat this food. I'll eat that food. I'll try this activity, that activity. But like I've not found anything since bodybuilding and fishing that like really just that I thrive on.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I'll play golf, but like it's like I'll play golf as a social thing, but it's not like my passion or anything. When I say play golf, I mean that's a lot. I play top golf. I don't
Yeah,
play
there
real
you
golf
go.
because I get my ass slaughtered. I'd be the guy that's hitting the ball in the pond every time.
Yeah, I
Or
think I
better
told.
yet, I'd swing and miss the whole ball. That's what would end up happening.
Well, I can't remember if it was you we were talking about this, but the last time I played top golf, I fucking hit people that were like two things next to me. I somehow like looked it around and fucking, I'm like, I'm that bad at golf.
No, I've
Were you
never
this
hit anyone with it.
were you this into fishing when you were bodybuilding, or you picked it more up after you got done?
No, actually, I did that when I was a kid, and that's kind of like I always liked doing it. But I will admit, like it's very taxing to do it the way I do it. It's taxing. I think as a bodybuilder, I would have looked at it and I would have said, this is a day off training that I'm not going to get back, and not to mention the following day, I'm still cooked, man. I'm wiped out.
Uh,
Like if you like theoretically anybody that sees me on Friday, you're not going to get much energy from me. Like it's going to be yes, no, maybe, and I'm gone.
yeah.
Like I'm not gonna be like Mr. Conversation or anything like that because my body's still trying to recover. Because this trip's going to be anywhere between 18 to 24 hours.
Yeah,
So
jeez.
there's going to be, and I'm already running on minimal sleep as it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's very taxing. And I look at it from a bodybuilder's perspective. That was my job. Not only was it my job, it was also my passion, my hobby, and it was by far greater than any fish I could ever think
Yeah.
about. So I wasn't willing to make the sacrifice of like having I could always go on an off day of training, but I know the following day I'm going to be taxed, I'm going to be exhausted. I know I'm going to lose weight out there too. Like my
Yeah.
metabolism was always on fire. Not to mention, I don't know if you have this issue, but when you get really hot, does it kill your appetite?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, exactly. If you're out there
Like when you're
under
in
the
the heat,
sun,
like
yeah,
when you're out in the sun, like the last thing I want to do is eat. Like
yeah.
when I'm like cool, air conditioned, I can just keep sitting here and shovel food down. But dude, like if I mow the yard, I'm not hungry for 4 hours afterwards, 4 or 5 hours. Like just getting
Yeah.
that really intense sweat. Now, if there's any like northerners listening, it's like 103 outside today or something like that. So like we're not talking
Jesus.
about I think it's like right at like 100 or like 101, 102, 103. I know my truck said like 117 earlier, but that's because of like it's just sitting in the sun, right?
Yeah.
So it's probably right at around 100 degrees or slightly above. So, when you're doing that for an hour outside, like it like rips my soul out. And I've always been that way since I was a kid. I knew that I would never thrive on having an outdoor job. Like it
Yeah.
just was not for me. And I
No,
live in
anyone who
South Florida,
thrives, they
so
suffer through that shit.
yeah, I know, right? But here in South Florida, like you guys don't have a lot of humidity. I might be able to handle it like in your area, but not here.
Oh
Like
yeah.
outdoors here, like I would say I mow the yard, I probably lose 4 pounds, maybe five in an hour.
Yeah, just water, right? You're just sweating that
Yeah,
shit
just
out.
water, just sweating.
Yeah.
When I'm out there, like I'm just gonna do it all at once. Like edging, trimming, mowing, or raking. I just do it all because I don't want to come in, get the house dirty 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
So I just set some water out on the porch and drink as needed and go on.
Yeah, I don't miss that shit in Houston, dude. It was the same exact thing in there.
Oh yeah,
Just miserable. Like I'm so spoiled
yeah.
now. Like not used to it at all. If I go back home, I'm like a pussy now, even though I grew up in there.
Texas gets quite a bit of heat, right?
Houston area
Like you mean,
especially. Yeah. I
it
mean, it's
gets
the
humidity
same.
as well.
It's the same. We're right on the Gulf. I was an hour away from the Gulf, so I mean, it's exactly the same. 100%
Yeah.
humidity, 100 degrees every day of the summer at least. So just miserable.
Yeah, but not to mention, like I'm very pale skinned, and I just recently found out, like I've always known that my dad has had skin cancer. Like it's always been benign, or up until recently, he's had a few basal carcinomas. Nothing like melanoma, nothing that's going to be life
Yeah.
threatening, but he's been dealing with it for like 20 to 30 years. Like it's not a new thing. I just recently found out that I've got like 4 other family members that I was unaware of that's got it too. So I'm
Oh,
like,
snap.
damn, man, there must be like a genetic thing going on here. So I've always
Yeah.
I'll wear long sleeve when I'm offshore too.
Yeah.
Like not like a jacket, but like the UV clothing.
Yeah, something light, just cover it up.
It's still
Yeah.
hot though.
Yeah.
So you
You have a
factor
big
that
you have a
in,
big old Fisher
sweat
hat or
gas off.
something? What do you
Oh yeah, I wear sometimes I actually wear this very hat and I'll pull it around to the front and my shirt will have a hood on it. I'll pull
Yeah.
the hood up, I'll put sunglasses on because I hate putting sunscreen on my face. Because if you put sunscreen on your forehead when you start to sweat and it runs down into your eyes, it
Yeah.
just burns and ruins your day. I'll put it on my cheeks, I'll put it on my ears, and sometimes around my neck. That's about it. I probably should put it on my calves because I'm in shorts. And I usually fish in Crocs too. You know how Crocs have holes in the top of them?
Yeah.
You can see, like, I have brown dots on my feet from like a sun going through the Crocs. I look like I have a skin disease, like a
Yeah,
foot
you got to put
disease
it
or
on your
something.
feet too. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, right? So my calves don't burn, either my feet. So I mean, I'm just hoping that I'm okay on that. But I know usually it's from like right here up is where you're going to
It
start
seems
seeing the first form of skin cancer.
seems to be, yeah, out of everyone I know. We haven't talked at all since any of the shows. What'd you think about some of them? What'd you think about Pittsburgh?
That was a very controversial show. Obviously, you saw the shit that went on like after the show.
Yeah. What'd you
I
have?
personally had Nick winning that show. That
Yeah.
was just me. I understand that, like, I don't think, well, I was going to say, I don't think people were disappointed that Derek won, but a lot of people was disappointed that Derek
Yeah.
won. It was comparing an apples and oranges physique. Like, if you want to talk about aesthetics, I mean, this wouldn't even make Nick mad either. Like, obviously, Derek is one of the more aesthetic, or maybe one of the most aesthetic open guys that we have right now. So Derek brought aesthetics, but he didn't outmuscle Nick, wasn't close to outmuscling Nick. And he also lost his signature poses, like the back double, the rear lat spread. Like I
I still
think
gave him the
Nick
back
beat him.
double. I keep hearing people say that. I still gave Derek the back double.
Oh, I had Nick on it. Derek had better glutes.
And just
That's
his
the only thing.
back is just so 3D. I mean, I get that Nick's got a little shoulder detail
Well,
and the arm detail, but that thickness
I
in
was
that
gonna
middle
say
of that back.
the shoulder and the arms is kind of like I'm gonna go with Lee Priest on this one because I didn't watch the full podcast he did, but they were talking about that, and Lee made a comment. He said it's a back double bicep for a reason. Like we're not looking at. He's like, yeah, I get it. Derek's got this. Derek's got that. But like, I still had like when I put the two because we watched the live stream at my buddy's house, and I thought, initially I thought Derek's going to win that show hands down. Like it's not going to be close. But when I watched the screen, I'm like, for some reason, my eyes continued to go back over to Nick.
Seems like
Like
most
even if
people
I
gave
didn't
it to
want
him.
to do what?
It seems like most people agree with you from what I hear. Most people gave it to Nick, the back double.
Yeah, I mean, you can't give Nick the Abbey five. I mean, that's going to be Derek all day on that one.
Or the front
Uh,
lat. His front lat's so bad.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's the pose that if the judges want to make an argument, I don't know what it is with Nick in that pose. It's weird because he has a great rear lat spread. And
Yeah.
I noticed was it Dennis James? I think Dennis said it either on a podcast or the commentary. I heard it somewhere. Like, it's like, how can he not get this pose right? And I don't know what it is, but that's been his weakest pose. I don't know if it's like a mind and muscle thing that he's not like getting his lats out right because he's got back. I mean, the dude's got a huge back. I just don't know why it's not showing on that front lat spread. It doesn't The muscle mass doesn't correlate into the pose.
Yeah.
So, and Derek definitely, swamped him completely on the front lat spread. So, and arguably, I think I'd give Derek the front double just because of the
Yeah,
waistline
me
and back.
too.
Like, I got to give
And
him
I
those
was
two.
giving the side tricep too, just because he was just so much tighter. I mean, Nick's got a great side tricep, but I just feel like he couldn't get his stomach out of the way on that one.
That one was, I could see it going either direction.
Yeah.
Now, I will say this, and we all saw this too. Um, when Steve was posing them hard, like, but he's always been known to do that. So, like,
Yeah.
it's not like this was a left field type of thing. Like, I've stood in front of Steve before, and I personally think it's a little ridiculous of how much he
Yeah.
makes them pose. But, maybe it truly, maybe in their eyes, it was that close, and the whole goal was to see who breaks. And I do think Nick broke
Yeah.
before Derek. Like you could see he was starting to get a little bit fatigued. Like he was starting to breathe through his stomach, and Derek was able to like control that a little bit better. So if you really wanted to break it down in that sense, I would have to go Derek because he was better with. I don't say that Derek was necessarily better with presentation as like pose for pose. I think Nick's doing a good job with his structure because he's able to hide his flaws and show his strengths. But when it comes to posing endurance, Derek got him on that one.
Yeah.
So if they would have went three more rounds, I think Nick would have been a lot more gassed. And that being said, I'm confident that Nick is probably reviewing that footage, looking over it, because I know how hungry he is to want to win the Olympia. I would be willing to bet he's probably posing 20 to 30 minutes a day from here on to the Olympia.
Yeah.
Like I mean, if when you're shooting for the biggest title in the world, you gotta cover everything. All bases have to be covered fully. So I do believe that he's gonna we won't see that issue again with the posting.
Did you see the side by sides? I forgot who posted it up. They posted Derek at the Arnold versus the Pittsburgh. Did you see that comparison?
I actually thought he was better at the arm.
Oh, he looked way
I
better.
think
His legs were great, man. His legs had such better size at the Arnold. I mean,
yeah, they were a
I
little
don't think that Derek gives up a point to Nick. I mean, I still think it's a close one, but I don't see it being like it was at this one, just because his legs were down so much. That really was like a
yeah.
big disparity.
I think if Derek would have brought his Arnold physique to the Pittsburgh, he would have closed the door. Like I don't
Yeah.
think there was any controversy on it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why a lot of people are saying how Nick's, now one of the front runners for the Olympia, but I'm like, he lost to like probably the worst version of Derek we've seen, at least right there with the Olympia where he was kind of out of it. And I don't see, Hottie being that off and Samson being that off all at the same time for him to leapfrog all three of them. I just think everyone's got to be pretty off because he has got such a bad look for the IFBB. It's just his legs are so fucking ugly, and if he can control his stomach, that's so much better. But there's so many times where he's just like less like, and he's not in the poses. He's pretty good during the poses. He's pretty aware, but it's like in between when he's getting hyped up and stuff. It's like
I think
just
that's where he needs to be more conscious. Yes.
yeah. Yeah. And I mean, if he had good shape to his legs too, I think he could win, but he just has no detail in the quads. Though. He's got the size from the adduct. I mean, if you watch him do his leg workouts, you can see too, like why he's got such thick adductors and hamstrings and his quads are kind of like wonky looking. He does everything with this kind of weird super sumoed, like the knees coming in because he's got like pain if he doesn't do it that way. So he's never really getting like crazy good continuous tension on the quads. That's why his adductors are so nuts. Have you ever seen him leg press?
I was actually in the gym when he was training legs one day, but I was training as well, so like I wasn't
Yeah.
paying attention to what he was doing.
Yeah, they're
So
like
like
super out to the side.
I'm one of those guys now. Like this after my birthday, this puts me at 23 years in the sport. So I think I've seen most everything coming and going. Like I don't watch other people's training videos. I watch like when my clients send me
Yeah.
videos to like correct their form or ask me what I think. I watch that. But like I just can't sit down and watch a 20 to 30 minute training video because this is all I've ever done my whole life.
Oh yeah.
Like I don't think anyone's going to be teaching me a whole lot in the gym at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, no, not at all. I'll just catch it on Instagram. I can't watch these long workout videos either. And then at the Pittsburgh, so who took third? Was that Bonac? Did he get third there?
Yeah, I think it was Bonnick that got third.
Bonac. Yeah, I mean, I've never seen somebody over 40 come back looking so good as he has.
Yeah,
That's
and I got to give him credit because I think it was like 2020. I just wrote him off. I was like,
yeah, me
his career
too.
is done. He retired, and I gave him till 2021 or 2022, and then William will sell off into the sunset. because it looked like he peaked probably around 2017 to
Yeah.
19 range. I'll say he beat me in 2016. It wasn't close. He beat me by a long shot. He was really good that year, but I
Yeah.
think he got better.
He got like
And
what,
I
eighth or
feel
sixth that
horrible for
year?
him. Do what?
In 16? What was he, like eighth or something?
He was seventh.
Yeah, yeah. And then he could jumped up to second, right? In 17. He looked fucking
He might have
phenomenal.
been sixth. He may have been sixth that year.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
He was
And then
sixth or seventh. But yeah, I think he got as high as third.
he
And to
got
be
he got
fair about it, I think
second.
they had. Oh, he got second.
Yeah, one year. Or maybe it was third. Maybe it was third. Oh, it was third to Big Ramy. You're right. That's the year
I was
Ramy got
thinking it was
second.
third, but I
Yeah.
had William in second. I
It
had
was
William
he
beat
should have been
Ryan.
second. Yeah. He could have even
Yeah,
pushed Phil that year. That was the
I
last
think
year.
he was pushing Phil hard that year
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Like that
Yeah.
was a prime William, and then like we saw him kind of fade off, and I was usually you don't ever see anyone make a comeback from that.
Yeah.
Like if it's an injury or if it's just they wanted time off or whatever, that's one thing. But age, he's over 40, so and I think actually I don't think he's that old, man. I think he's like at 40 or low 40s.
No, dude,
I
he's like
just didn't.
43. He's 42 or
Oh,
43. Yeah.
okay. I just didn't expect him to come back. Like he's not at his peak, but he's not that far away from it.
Yeah, I mean, he's
Like he's
real
holding on
close.
very, very well.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if he was at his peak, I think like peak William Bonac is second at the Olympia right now, probably. I mean, he's a top four guy for sure. Yeah, he's 43. He just turned 43. Yeah.
The year that he got third, I think if he brought that right now, I think he could win it.
Yeah, me too.
Like I would put him winning the Olympia over Derek, over Hottie, over Nick, over all of them
Yeah,
if
I
he
mean
could
it
bring that. But I don't
exactly.
I don't foresee that happening.
No, that
That's
was
like we
his legs were
saw
huge.
that's like we saw Dexter. Dexter's best was when he won the Olympia, which is a fair statement. He won the biggest bodybuilding show in the world. I genuinely think that's the best like overall package is just being full, but also looking fresh.
Yeah.
Like there's a look, and I don't know, that's probably not the right term that I'm looking for, but there's a look when you have a guy who's just fresh to the scene. It's like, it almost looked like it was new muscle, but it
Yeah.
wasn't. He'd been sitting on that muscle for 15 plus years. But 2008, he was good. 2009, he was good. 2010, I think it was 2010 or 11, he actually lost, I think,
12,
to,
right? Yeah.
I
I
think
think
it
it
was
was
Evan beat him.
yeah, 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 that's right.
Evan said, or
At
granted,
the New York?
Evan beat him.
Was that the
The
New York?
Flex Pro.
Flex Pro. Okay, yeah, yeah, I
Yeah.
remember.
It was the Flex Pro. So when I did the Arnold like in 2015, to be fair about it, I completely underestimated.
Yeah.
Like I thought, okay, well, 3 years ago, he was not looking his best. I was like, he's going to continue to decline. And somehow he was able to pull his shit back together. And he never replicated that 2008 look, but that's age. But he was good enough, I mean, to get the win. And I think he ended up winning like three or four more
Yeah.
Arnolds after that.
Yeah.
Like it was kind of ridiculous. But and I think he got second at the Olympia in like 2017, if I'm not mistaken.
I think that
He
was
was a little
Rami,
upset
but
because I think he thought he was going to win that.
to Phil one year. I forgot what year that was, but I think you're right. Yeah. And then I
I
was
think
hoping
it
to
was
see
17.
yeah. I was hoping to see Vito. I really wanted to see him again because I think he's starting to look really crazy. He had the injury. What'd you think about the New York?
Um, it wasn't too much different than Pittsburgh. I mean, you kind of replaced Derek with Reagan as far as like a top five on that one because
Yeah.
Krizos did Pittsburgh as well, right?
Yeah, he did both.
What did you finish there? Fifth, fourth, or fifth?
Pittsburgh, I think he was fifth. Yeah, and then he moved up one with Derek gone. I mean, I just saw the pictures, so maybe they were all early prejudging because I heard Regan faded pretty bad, but I would have had Regan ahead of him just based off the pictures that I saw. But I
I
hear that they
agree.
flipped. Yeah, Regan looked good.
I
I was impressed.
I had Reagan in second on that. Well, not second, but I had him in third on that one.
Yeah,
Um, something about his look, man. It's like he has the shape and the structure, but he just doesn't have like that hardness, like
yeah.
the muscle density. I guess is
From the
what I'm looking
front, I mean, his
for.
back is crazy. He's got such a good back,
Yeah,
and
and I don't know. I don't know what the deal with that is, to be honest. I mean, because he was in shape. Like, I mean, could he have been a little bit harder? Yes, but like he just doesn't. I mean, look at Dorian Yates though, man. Like he had like a granite look about him that the other guys couldn't replicate. And I think that Reagan kind of has the opposite. Like I don't think the guy's cheating on his diet. I really don't.
no.
Now he didn't like what I said in the past because I think I made a comment. I don't think he trains hard enough. And to this day, I have not seen Reagan train in a gym since, man, probably 2019 or 2020. So it's been like 4 or 5 years. So I can't say what he's done in the last 5 years, but leading up to that, I had seen him in the gym a couple of times, and I wasn't impressed with his enthusiasm and like his intensity. And I guess I pissed him off when I said that because he did write me a little troll comment. And I kind of just
Really?
laughed. I mean, I don't. There's no bad blood. If there is,
Yeah.
I don't know about it.
No, I don't
I
think
mean,
Regan. I
I
think
wasn't
Regan
like,
doesn't care too much about most. He probably just fucking around.
oh yeah, yeah. He definitely takes shots. Like he fires back, but he's not like he doesn't get that into it. Like it's not
I mean,
that
he's
serious.
got a good life. What does he have to stress about, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I know he's making a shitload of money, and even though he's not winning shows, my guess is he will win a show this year. I think he'll make it through. He'll win one. He'll go to the Olympia. It ain't going to be the New York Pro, obviously. I didn't think he was going to win that one going in there, which I did.
No.
I give him credit, his confidence. He said, saw his post because he had his, it wasn't the ring, but he said he had won Classic there in
Yeah,
2018.
that's
He was
right.
coming for the
Yeah,
Open title.
I saw that.
So that being said, I do think he will win a show this year. But like, the dude's got a great life, man. I mean, he's making a lot of money. Like, he's got a newborn baby. I don't think it's too old. I don't know the details
Yeah.
of that. Uh, but he seems like he's happy on social media. So, kudos to him.
He's got to be passionate if he's doing this shit. I mean, he really doesn't need to financially. He could just chill and do his online shit, you know? So it's like he definitely is passionate about it. And I think he's probably gonna win the cow. I'm gonna actually be there this weekend. They're having the
Okay.
cow. So that'll be cool. I'll be right up front. I got like the VIP, so it'll be
Who
him.
will be his who will be his biggest challenger?
Well, I don't know why Crizzle's not doing it. Do you know why Crizzle didn't jump into it? Because I mean, he would be a favorite if he jumped into it. But you know who is doing it is Bruno Santos. Do you remember him?
Yeah.
He he looks good. He's a big boy, and he's got a great back too. So he can stand there with Regan. I think he could beat. He looks so good. I think Regan will win just because I remember last year Bruno came in just a little bit. He looks like in good condition, but he was just not quite 100% his first show, and then he nailed it his second show. So I know he's gonna do a few. So I probably have Regan winning, and then Bruno's. But then you got Sass who's gonna be in it as well. Who Sass looks phenomenal. I mean. He's got such a great like ab and thighs. He probably has the best ab and thighs in the IFBB. I mean, he beat Andrew on the ab and thighs when they competed, but it wasn't the best Andrew ever. And then that other Brazilian guy, the Leonardo guy, I think that's his name. You've seen him? He's pretty balanced. He got second to Vito at
Okay.
down there.
Okay. Very cool.
He looks good. He just hasn't come in super diced. So those are like the main ones. What are your thoughts?
I think based on what you told me, I think Reagan will win the show off
Yeah.
of that. Especially if he continues to get better from one show to the next. I think he'll win the show. Um, but yeah, back to what you were saying about him like competing and like the finance side of things. I think a lot of guys, I think very few guys compete for the money
Yeah.
because the vast majority of us at this point, you're either making money on social media or you have another job. Like there's something else you're doing because sponsorships is like kind of far and few at this point. I personally don't know any guys that's getting, a six figure salary just by being a bodybuilder right now.
No, but I
I
mean they'll
mean,
use it to up their profile, which he doesn't really need to up his profile necessarily.
yeah. Yeah. So like I'm sure he's making his money through social media, and I'd venture to say he already has quite a bit of money, but the other guys that's not doing the social media, they've got something going on the side. Like Justin Shire owns a couple of businesses. So like
Yeah,
he's not competing for the money. He's competing for the love and the passion
yeah,
of doing it. And obviously, speaking of money, this is a topic if you want to touch on it. We don't
yeah,
have
yeah.
to.
I was gonna talk about it. Yeah.
The Lenda Murray thing.
Well, I was gonna talk about the Arnold, but yeah, I mean her coming up and like I don't know why. So people who don't know, I'm sure most of you guys know, Arnold bumped the winner prize money up to 750, right? It's just the winner, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's awesome. And then
Well,
Linda
chances
Murray,
are, if the
what's
winner's
that?
getting 750, they're going to stagger it down as well. I'm going to go on a limb and say second place is going to get like 300, maybe 350,000,
Yeah, I would figure 250
something
at
like
least.
that,
Yeah,
or at least 250. Yeah, it's
yeah.
it's going to be a big check. And I saw this thing, and I saw a lot of people attacking Andrew and a lot of people attacking Linda. And at the end of the day, that was the stupidest shit I've ever seen because
Who,
I
Linda?
saw I
Linda's
literally
saying
like
that?
what?
You mean that the Linda what she said
No,
was
no,
the
no,
stupidest shit?
no, no, no. The fans, the people who
Oh,
reacted, was some stupid people. like some stuff that I can't say that would get this video kicked off of YouTube. And the
I've had
reason I say
plenty.
that is because I woke up one morning and like looked through my phone because the first thing I do is I check my WhatsApp. If there's anyone in prep, I sometimes I'm literally doing the prep clients while laying in bed.
Yeah.
Like that's like first priority to me before I eat, before I do anything. So I'm like, okay, and I'm scanning through like what do I got to do? And then I saw where someone sent me that from Lenda, and I'm like, huh, what is this? And I didn't really quite grasp it. And then I kind of brushed it off. The next day, I see like Andrew made a statement about it. And I'm like, how the hell is Andrew making a statement about this? Because people were saying Lenda needs to shut up and they need to keep Andrew's name out of her mouth. And I'm like, she was wrong on the numbers, but she didn't say anything defamatory or derogatory or anything bad towards Andrew.
Yeah.
And they can't pull a race car because they're both black. So like she got the numbers wrong, but I think she chose a bodybuilder, didn't have to. She's trying to compare like all the women's payout. So
Yeah.
Andrew's salary payout was probably the closest that matched
Yeah.
that. So that's why she picked that. But she didn't say Andrew didn't deserve it or he sucked or anything like that. So I'm assuming Andrew may had to make a statement because everybody's tagging him and everybody's talking shit to him. You know how like people love to troll
Yeah.
online. So I'm assuming like they just took that out of like, and then at the same time, I don't feel like Andrew should have made a statement back either because she didn't say anything negative towards him.
Yeah.
This was just the fans reading way too far into it. Now, as far as Lenda's point, I got to disagree with Lenda.
Yeah.
And I'm going to disagree with her because at the end of the day, I don't have analytics on this, and none of us do for that matter. Anyone watching this, unless you're a show promoter, keep your mouth closed because you don't know who in that audience, who buys tickets, who they're there to see. Like, if we could justify that everyone's, and I think for the like, for example, the Mr. Olympia show, I like Andrea Shaw, I like Keon, I like all of them. I like Natalia, but we're not there to see that, right? We're there to see the open Mr. Olympia. That's what we pay to see. Again, that sounds disrespectful to them, the other athletes. It's not. I'm not trying to be that way, but at the end of the day, the hype. Look at the face, the posters for the Mr. Olympia. They're putting the Mr. Olympia on the poster. Like hell, I think Derek's face was like big, and then Bumstead's was behind that. If that tells you anything, yeah, the most popular man in the sport wasn't the face of the show. So when it comes down to it, I'm only assuming that the IFBB has ran some analytics on this and said, hey, men's bodybuilding is what brings the most money in. I don't know how because there's not that many competitors as amateur in the amateur ranks
Yeah.
compared to the other divisions. But like at the end of the day, they are promoters. This is not a sport. Like it's not like recognized as a sport, even though we like to call it that, but it's not recognized like the NFL or NHL or anything like that. So the promoters can do what they want to do. And they're putting the money where they feel like they're going to get the most ROI. That's business. So they're doing that for a reason. And that tells me that the women are not bringing in anywhere near the money that the men are, which is why they're getting paid less. Same thing for the WNBA. Like this is not about equal rights because I mean, if me and a female are working on an assembly line and I'm getting paid $50 an hour and she's getting paid 25, that's full blown discrimination because we're both doing the same job. Bodybuilding and competing in shows is not a job. Like this is not discrimination. Like you can complain all you want, but I look at it like this, and I'm not picking on Lenda because she's trying. Like I'm actually going to support her, even though I don't agree with her argument. Like I support women and being able to make a living and make an income out of it. But if Lenda wants to make the impact, I feel like she has backing to do so because of who she is. And somebody actually made a point that she hosts. I mean, I know she has her own show because I think it's right here in Florida where I'm at, if I'm not
I thought
mistaken.
I thought it was Georgia. No.
Oh, maybe it got moved. I think it was at Florida at one point. But
Maybe.
either way, she
Yeah.
has her own show, right?
Yeah.
And someone pointed out that she had a 212 division at
Yeah.
her show, and the 212 winner got paid more than the women. It's like, hey, Lenda, like I want to support you and your idea here, but you got to support it yourself.
Yeah.
Like, if you really want the girls to make extra money, maybe you should put some of your own up to do so. Like, lead by example is what I'm trying. Like, Arnold is putting that money up, and he's leading by example of what he wants. So if this is what Lenda wants, Lenda needs to lead by example on it. And that's just my opinion on it. I mean, I like Lenda. I don't think she was the greatest Miss Olympia. I think that was Iris Kyle. I think it was hands down Iris. But nonetheless, Lenda was great, and she's been a great representation of the sport. But
Yeah.
I think she was a little off
She's
on
a
it.
better ambassador than Iris for sure.
Absolutely. I don't know. Iris just don't get out there too much, does she?
Iris is fucking mean, man. She don't like to get out there and push positivity and shit.
You say she's mean?
Yeah, I mean she's got a lot against the sport too, but you never see her like out there like speaking publicly and lifting up anyone really. I mean, not like Linda.
Well, I'm gonna cut Iris a little bit of slack on this, and this is like hearsay, so I don't want to say this to be factual, but I was thinking that when they discontinued the Miss Olympia, she was still at the top. She was still winning when they discontinued it. So she retires, and then they bring it back, and or no, it was the
It was the
Rising
Wings of
Phoenix.
Strength. Yeah.
The Wings of Strength, the Rising Phoenix.
Yeah.
So when they bring that back, she's
That
going to
was
do it. I was told they refused to let her compete.
yeah. Or they wanted her to qualify or
Oh,
some shit. They wanted her to do a
that's what it
show.
was.
They wanted her to do a show or something since she had been retired or whatever. And she's like, I'm fucking 10-time Miss Olympia. Get the fuck out of here. Like that was pretty
Oh,
ridiculous.
I thought they just wouldn't let her compete. I didn't
No,
know. I
no,
mean,
they wanted her to do another show for whatever reason. I remember her talking about that. And she's like, fuck you. Like what like
okay, then I got it
I'm
wrong.
women's bodybuilding, which I totally have her side on that. That makes total sense. Like, come on, if you've been 2 years retired and you still look the way you look, like let her fucking compete, you know?
I mean, technically, according to the rules, Jay, Ronnie, Phil, Dexter, Dorian, all of them can still hop their ass right on stage this year because they're former
Yeah,
Mr. Olympia
right? Because that's
winners.
the Olympia, I
So
guess.
I don't see why it should be any different from female bodybuilding. So I can see why Iris might have a chip on her shoulder and she's not
Yeah.
trying to promote the sport.
Yeah.
You know, like if I was a 10-time Mr. Olympia and I took 2 years off and I want to come back for my 11th title and you tell me I got to do the Orlando Pro again, I'd be like, fuck you, dude. Like,
Yeah.
fuck off.
But maybe they did that because she's kind of she's not the nicest person in the world. She doesn't have the best. I'm close with one of her best friends, and it's like her only friend, and she'll admit that she's like her only friend. But I mean the kind of people that are paying for like women's bodybuilding, like they're not paying to like go to shows. They're paying to see them on their fucking OnlyFans, wrestling dudes and shit. It's like
Unfortunately, yeah.
you can't expect everybody to be like Jake Wood. You know, Jake Wood is just losing money because he just loves the muscle women. Like he's not making money on his Rising Phoenix
Yeah.
show. No way. He's paying these girls out so much, and they already got like money just thrown at them in one huge show that they don't technically deserve, that they're not like bringing in. So it's like you already got special treatment. Like just don't expect everybody to do that. Like let Arnold do what he wants because any positively for the industry is going to be positive for women too. Like it's going to lift everything up. It's not like you have to make a big deal and like single yourself out. Like just be thankful that good stuff is happening in the industry because it'll spill over is kind of the way that I look at it. And if you do feel that way, like you said, do shit on your own. Like there are people like Natalia or not Natalia, who's the physique Sarah. Like at her shows,
Yeah.
they threw in extra money for the women's physique. She threw in another, I think like 10 or 20Ks. So their show, their physique girls winning good money, and that's what she wanted to do. So it's like you like can't blame the promoter. Let them do what they want to do with their money. And Arnold's the fucking king of bodybuilding. Of course, he's going to put it towards bodybuilding. You know?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, because ultimately, men's bodybuilding is what started the sport to begin with. Like, this is the root. This is where it all goes back to.
I mean, I think they
And
should
yeah,
just.
It's Arnold's decision. You know, like I don't agree with half the stuff that Arnold says, but at the end of the day, you know, I don't control his checkbook and he don't control mine, so he can do what he wants.
He doesn't have to push it to 750. He could have kept it at 400. Everyone would be super happy, you know?
And I
It's
think
just,
Arnold wants. I think he wants his show to be number one.
yeah.
And there's gonna be a point. I don't know where that point's where this line's gonna get drawn, but Arnold clearly has the money to. If Arnold, I don't want to give this dipshit any ideas, but like if Arnold wanted to, he could destroy the NPC, start his own league, and be number one because he has the fan base, the trust. I mean, I don't follow. I mean, I know who he is, but I don't follow his footsteps. I don't agree with the way Arnold does things. I don't agree with the stuff that he says, but he has the influence to be able to do that. So my question is going to be, when he keeps raising his prize money, the IFBB and the Olympia are going to have to raise the Olympia prize money. I'm expecting a $1 million payout for the Olympia this year. They're going to
This
have
year?
to announce something.
Maybe
Well, I
next year.
mean,
Maybe not this year since they just did the Arnold at what, 400? What was the Arnold this year? 500?
4 or 500. I don't
Yeah.
I think it's 500. I may be
Yeah.
wrong, but I think it's 500.
Okay. Yeah,
But
that's
either
right.
way, I
Because
mean, I would expect the Olympia to be last year, was it 600?
600. Yeah.
So maybe the Olympia will go to 750, and then Arnold matches the 750 next
Yeah.
year, and the following year the Olympia goes to 900 to a million.
Yeah.
So I mean, ultimately, he's doing good for the sport because he is bringing more money back to the athletes. And it may not be to the athletes that Linda or the women want it to be. Again, that's a very subjective topic. But I'm just wondering when the IFBB, the Manions, Jake Wood, somebody's going to say, "Hey, Arnold, why don't you take a back seat because we don't want to fucking pay no more."
That's what I'm
Because
saying.
I feel
Well,
like they're,
do you remember what
I
he
feel like
said about why he started doing it, right? Because he said he originally he like with the weeders, he said like they had an agreement he wouldn't do it, but he's like now that all the weeders are gone, he's like I don't feel like I fucking am obligated to do this. There's no reason. Like why should I not pay you guys more? So I mean, he was loyal to the weeders more than the IVB for sure. I mean, he appreciated everything he did for him. So yeah, I just think he's gonna keep raising it, and it is a better show. You don't have to sit there through fucking 70 goddamn classic physiques, and you don't have to sit there through all the figure and the 12 different women's divisions. I mean, it's already a better show from a fan experience. I really hope that I hope that he ends up
from the
just
athlete experience, I'll say again, it sounds weird for me to sit here and promote Arnold because I'm not his biggest fan, but like his show is a very good, well ran show, and it blows the Olympia's doors off.
yeah.
Granted, it was David Pecker, I think, that had the show prior, and it was not Jake Woods. And maybe things have changed, but like when I competed at the Olympia, I didn't have a good experience. To
Yeah.
be fair about it, like, and I've said that on multiple podcasts, like the way it was ran, the way they organize it, like it's not for the athletes. It's for
Yeah.
them to make money. Like it's not for us at all.
What's the biggest
So
difference between like the Arnold and the Olympia from a competitor viewpoint?
I feel like the stress, like the timeline of maybe I'm being petty on this, but it was like I felt like you got to be here Wednesday, you got to be here Thursday, you got to be here Friday, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this. There's so much shit going on, and different people handle stress differently. And I'm someone who doesn't handle it well. Like I've learned that when I sit in a hotel room, stay off my phone, watch TV, eat, pose, eat, pose, eat, pose, that's when I'm going to look my best.
Yeah.
If I got to go downstairs and spend 4 hours in this ballroom listening to some bullshit speech, or I got to go here and I got to do this, I got to do this, I got to do this, my physique will start going downhill. And I don't know why that is. And then when my physique goes downhill, I'm going to be a little on the moody side of things because I'm very aware and alert of how I'm looking. Now, I will say my Olympia experience, I am going to blame Hani directly on this one. Uh, he
This is when you
asked
were the
me to
Evil
run,
Gym?
yeah, he asked me to run the booth the day of, like, keep in mind, prejudging is like Friday night, right? He asked me to run the booth the day of. And I'm like, it's the first time he's ever asked me to do it out on a show day like that. And I'm like, oh, man, it's like, I got the contract here. Like, I really don't want to leave the company, but I know if I say no or if I refuse, this is going to be a problem. It's going to be a big problem as well. Not to mention, Hani knows every single person on the
Yeah.
judging panel. Like, it was like, this could end badly for you.
Yeah,
And
but
this
you
is
think if you were his athlete, he would have let you take off? Maybe you should
absolutely 1,000%. Because there's no way in hell if I would have worked with him, he would have told me to stand there all day.
right?
I mean, we were already a little bit on rocky terms. Like when I say rocky terms, like we didn't fight, we didn't cuss each other. There was a respect factor, but at the same time, I stood my ground against him. Like if I didn't want to do something, I would tell you I'm not doing it. Like I mean, you can bitch, you can moan, and you can beg. I'm not doing it. If it's not in my contract to say I have to do it, I'm probably not going to do it. So I think that definitely impacted the way he felt towards me on that. At least that's how I feel on that. But yeah, he asked me to run the booth, and I remember Mo came by. You know Mo, right?
Which Mo?
El Masawi.
Yeah, yeah,
I hope I pronounced that right. If I didn't, I didn't mean to.
yeah.
But yeah, Mo's an Olympia judge, and I was tight with Mo then. And he always liked me. He was a fan. And he comes by the booth and he goes, Justin, what in the hell are you doing here?
Right?
And I was like, and they're like literally the emotion, like the expression on my face is exactly how I looked at him. I was like, gotta be here, man. He goes, no, you don't. I was like, yeah, actually, I do. He goes, says who? I was like, Hani asked me to move. He goes, give me a minute. He goes over and talks to Hani and Hani's business partner. Connie didn't say a word to me. Like his business partner, Nick, comes by and goes, "Hey, Justin, how you feeling?" I was like, "Tired, Nick." And he goes, "Why don't you go back to the room and get some rest?" I don't know what Mo said, but Mo must have dropped like a hammer on them.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, like, and the bad thing is, like, his booth, and this is great for him, but like he had his booth all the way at the back of the expo, which means I had to walk through the crowd. You can
Yeah.
imagine how many times I got stopped.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
I was the only Olympia competitor, open bodybuilding that is, that was in the expo that evening. And
Probably.
I 100% think that affected my physique, just standing on my feet all day.
Yeah, I'm sure. I talked to Sergio after FIBO, and he worked FIBO the whole fucking time. He was the only one. He's like, yeah, it 1,000% fucking hurt me. Like he was, but I had to fucking do it, you know. But he was the only. I was like, were you the only one there? He's like, I was the only fucking one that competed that was there all day, and it does. I mean,
Like
there's nothing you can do.
I like in my opinion, the way big shows like the Arnold and the Olympia should be ran is I think they need to have the show and then have the expo the following day and then allow the fans to meet the athletes after the stress is gone. That way they're hydrated
Because
because
they're not
if you ever
grumpy.
meet a guy Friday night before the show and then meet him Saturday and after the show, you get two different personalities.
Yeah.
So like the fans would probably like when they hear people, "Oh, that guy was a dick," and I'm like, "Well, do you think about the circumstances he was under? Like, people don't understand that because they've never walked those shoes." And I remember a guy. I was with my buddy Mike Rice at that show. He flew out to the Olympia to see me and support me, and he was actually at the booth because I had two duffel bags, I think, with my own apparel in it. Then I had a 6-pack cooler with my food in it. And I remember when Nick told me to leave, but he's like, "Yeah, go ahead and get some rest." So like if you stop in the middle of the expo and you drop your bags to take a picture, you're going to have a crowd around you like instantly. So someone asked me for a picture, and in my head, I'm like, "Oh," I was like, "But don't say no, Justin. They paid a lot of money to be here, and they like you." So I was like, "Yeah, I'll take a picture." Next thing you know, there's like 15 more people wanting to take
Yeah.
pictures, and I finally cleared it, and I was like, "Okay, we got to go." So I've got a duffel bag on this shoulder, another one on this shoulder. And Mike was like, "Let me help you." I was like, "No, no, no. I don't want no help, Mike, because I want you to see I'm busy. Like I want to see like I'm loaded down. I'm like I can't stop." Sure enough, like I literally have a duffel bag on each shoulder and I'm carrying my cooler. Someone's like, "Hey Justin, man, can I grab a picture?" And I'm like, "Okay, sorry, dude, not personal, but like you're the one I'm gonna have to be the dick to. Like I don't want to be the dick."
Yeah.
But I was looking at the guy, I said, "Sorry, man, I can't, I gotta go." And I didn't see this because I probably would have overreacted and this probably would have kept me out of the Olympia that year. But Mike was like 5 to 10 feet behind me. And he said, like, whenever I walked on, the guy just like flips me off behind my back. I'm like, first off, you really accomplished a whole lot. Like, you had me face to face and you waited until I turned around to flip me off. Like, good job, buddy. Like, you really showed me. But
So,
had I turned around and saw it, it
yeah.
would have gotten
Would
ugly.
have been the 80-year-old dude at the Y all over again.
It would have gotten ugly. I probably would have dropped the bag and said, you wanted a picture with me. You're going to get one. We're both going to get it from a jail cell."
You should have had your boy act like your manager, kind of your handler, and be like,
Well,
"No, sorry, we got to go."
he kind of offered, but I was like, I know how that's going to be. I mean, actually acting as a manager, I'm plugging my phone in right now. If you looks like I'm looking that way. Um, I know how that would have been. I mean, I don't want to put Mike in a situation. I was just trying to get out because I think I had 2 hours before I had to actually be at the auditorium for prejudging.
Yeah, that meet the Olympians, they fucking look miserable sometimes. I remember when I've told this story when I met Dallas. I mean, this was the year he died a few months later, right? It's like this is that meet the Arnold. This is at the Arnold, and
Arnold, yeah.
yeah, and it's like he's just fucking just dying. There's lines of people, and it's just so miserable. He's like, he had to go take a break for a second. I just goes, I don't feel that. I got to get out of here. I got to like rest for a second. And it's just like, I think you're right. Like, I think it'd be like better to meet these guys after the show.
Well, I've had that conversation with people before, and they always say stuff like, "Well, if somebody loses, are they actually going to show up at the expo the next day?" And I look at it like this: Arnold's invitation only, and the Olympia is qualification only. So it only works on those two shows. I think if we had the show on Friday, then had an expo on Saturday and Sunday, we need to put a contract that says, like, for everyone that was either invited or
Yeah.
qualified, if you compete in the show, it is mandatory that you be there. If you don't show up, your pro card is revoked.
Yeah, or
Give them
like
2 year suspension.
Well, they used to find people back in the day. I guess finding is kind of like weird though. I think because that's the whole thing. That's the only thing I gave a shit about when I would be there. It was just meet the Olympians, meet the Arnold guys. That's the whole reason I went. I love the show, but I can watch that like online. I love to sit there and talk to people. And it's funny how different everybody is. Because I met Samson the year he won the Arnold, and like I try to be very cognizant of your guys' time and how you're feeling. And I'm like talking to him like, okay, he's sitting there, he's like so animated, talking to me, shaking my hand, so nice, talking to me for minutes. I'm like, dude, you got like a line of 30 people, like more than that, like 80 people behind me. Like, I'll let you go, like you do your thing. And then he went and won the Arnold that year. So it is funny how everyone's got the way they handle
Very
it a little bit different.
subjective. From
Yeah.
one, like depending on how people handle like the stress and sitting around, sitting on their feet. Like I can say this, Flex Lewis is probably one of the best
Yeah,
ambassadors for the sport we've
for
ever
sure.
seen
Dude,
because
he would be
he
there.
was the
Yeah, exactly. The
he was
last
the
person.
last guy that left the building. Like if there was a fan waiting for a picture, like Neil would have to be like, "Hey Flex, like you got to cut this shit off, man. Like we got to go. Like you have a show to win."
Yeah.
And like Neil would have to stop him because Flex, I think Flex truly enjoyed it. And it's not that I didn't enjoy it. I just know that like while I'm enjoying this over here, my bigger picture is
Yeah.
fading away.
Well, I think some
So
people
like
get
Dallas is
energy from
obviously
it.
like, do
Right.
what?
I think some people get energy from it, and then some people lose energy from it, right?
Correct. Yeah. So I was a guy like I got energy from it, but it's almost like I'm stealing it from somewhere else in order to do so. At least that's how I felt, anyways. Um, and I never got stressed when it shows because if anyone's ever met me at another expo outside the Arnold or the Olympia, I'm a very talky, chatty, like smiley. I'm very interactive. But like when I'm on show day, it's just
Yeah.
like that's what you're getting. And then after the show, like I perk up once I get water back in me, and then my eyes are like there was like when I won the Golden State, they interviewed me, and I did not expect to win that show. I did a 5 week prep, and turns out it was the best I ever looked.
Yeah.
But like I was in like complete shock. I remember my eyes was big, and the comments was like, "Well, we know who did cocaine for this show," and I'm like, "What?
Is that a
Really? But
thing?
they're all saying
Who else was in there in that show? I forget.
Michael Lockett got second in that show.
Yeah, yeah. He's just chilling, right? I don't think he does anything anymore. He's just. I think he lives
Um,
around where I live, and I've seen him
yeah,
just.
he's out in LA.
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
he's out in the LA area, and Michael's one of those guys that he's retired, but he still looks better than probably half the pros out there.
He's just a
Like
freak. He's just a
that
freak of
guy has, like,
freaks.
I don't think he has like myostatin.
Yeah, no, he's the one. He's the one that has some shit going on, and like he didn't like train particularly well or eat particularly well, and he just had that fucking weird looking muscle where there's just shit going on, and they're so dense. Not like he was the biggest
Yeah.
guy in the world, but there was something to him for sure. I think he
Well,
was.
the year that he beat Sergio at the Chicago Pro,
Yeah,
17 maybe 18 somewhere in that range.
18. That was 18. Yeah,
18. So yeah, he was originally like he never talked about doing the show. To the best of my knowledge, he hopped in the show like 7, 8 days out. And when David, I think it was David Bay that was interviewed, and he's like, "So you look better. You look significantly better at the show. What did you do different?" He's like, "I didn't diet." And the guy
yeah,
was like, Davis kind of looks over. He's like, "What do you mean you didn't diet?" He goes, "Yeah, usually I diet for shows. I try to clean up my diet." And he goes like, "I just get smaller. I don't get better." They're like, "You didn't diet." He goes, "No, just ate whatever I want." He goes, "I cut my water the night before. That was it." I'm like, "Well, it must be fucking nice to just cut your water the night before and just win a pro show."
yeah. He won that a
But
few
yeah,
years in a row.
like I remember he won the Team Universe in 2006 or 2007 when it was drug
So
tested.
so natural. Yeah,
And everyone was like, "Oh, that's not natural." And at the time, I thought to myself, like, "No, there's no way." But the more I got to know this guy and I followed his journey, I'm like, actually, yeah, I believe he was 100% natural when he competed at like
yeah,
230.
yeah.
Like he was a big guy. Like, but everyone was bitching about how he's not natural, and I'm like, I think he actually is natural at that show. And he rejected the pro card too. I don't know if you remember that.
Oh, I don't. Why did he do
He
that?
rejected it because he said he wanted to win it in an untested. He wanted to win an untested, like he
Yeah,
wanted to win nationals.
yeah.
Granted, I think right after that he had some legal issues. I don't
Right.
know what it was. I've never have known what it is, and so it's not that I'm not wanting to disclose it. I
Yeah.
never knew what those legal issues was. I don't know if it was something that just costed him financially, or maybe it was something he went to jail for. I really don't have a clue. I just know there was something that happened from that time to 2013. And I remember I prepped one of my friends, Jason, for the 2013 Mr. Kentucky, and he was a light heavy, and he was on point too. Like I basically promised him, I was like, "Yeah, you're like." I didn't even go to the show. I was like, "You're going to win the fucking show." No one did. And he calls me after prejudging. I was like, "Hey, how'd it go, man?" I was like, "Do you have any pictures? I need to see what we need to put the game plan for finals." And he's like, "Yeah, I won the light heavyweight class." And he goes, "I've won the masters class too." He goes, "But I'm going to lose the overall." And I said, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa! Like, what do you mean? We're not losing the show. Like, who the hell could possibly be at a regional show that could beat you?" He's like, "Oh, there's this really big black guy in the super heavies." And I'm like, "Who the fuck is the really big black guy in the supers?" Like, there's never any good super heavyweights,
Yeah,
right? At regional
exactly.
level, or at least
Not a
not.
regional. Yeah.
So he's like, I can't think of his name. And he's like, "Hey, who's that guy?" And I heard Michael Lockett, and I was like, "Oh shit, yeah, you're beat. You're
Yeah,
done."
yeah, you're right.
I'm like, "Sorry, buddy, you're done. He's gonna win."
Yeah,
I
he
think
he.
Michael turned pro shortly after that too.
What did he end up turning pro at? Do you remember? North Americans?
It was either the 2013 or 2014 Nationals.
Okay. Did he? He didn't win the overall, did he?
No, he actually got second in his class.
Oh wow. Yeah. Well, that's one of the cases where, the second is kind of like worthy of it. A lot of times people like talk shit on that, right? Winning second,
Yeah, I
but
know,
he
right?
he, he was he was an Olympian, so shows you right there.
Yeah, he went
Um,
on to win shows that like that the guy. I remember the guy who beat him, and I don't remember his name now because it's been over 10 years ago. But I remember Michael went on to do much greater things than the guy who actually beat him at that show. So yeah, I mean, he was obviously going to get it sooner or later. Had they have made him wait on that show, he was going to show up the next year and just kill everyone.
yeah.
Well, and that's one case where I do feel like giving the second place pro card was very beneficial. But we've seen that other times as well in the past. Like there's been situations where girls will get second place and go on to win a bikini show, a figure show, a wellness show, something like that. Because if you're a rookie and that's like your first year competing and you get second at a national qualifier, obviously, or sorry, pro qualifier, obviously you're on your way at that point.
Yeah.
So I can see that. Now, if you're a guy who's been competing for 15 years and you got second, take your pro card with pride, but don't expect to go anywhere as a pro.
Oh, you know who else got second and won a show and went to the Olympia? Although I don't know if they competed. Was Ross Flanagan? He ended
Yeah.
up getting. Yeah, yeah. That's another guy I was trying to
Yeah,
think of.
Ross, my guy, Jonathan, actually beat Ross at Nationals that year.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
I
When he
cut
got
withers for that.
so he was a heavyweight and beat him in the heavyweight or what? Because he got second in
Yeah.
his class, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And then Ross went on to have a more successful career.
Yeah, yeah. And then
Not only just a career in bodybuilding, but like apparently his
yeah,
flavor gang stuff is
yeah,
like booming. And
yeah.
I feel bad because I'm like the only person that's not tried it yet.
I don't, man. I can't do their shit. The sauces are okay. I can't do the cream of rice. There's too much to it, and like I don't like it. But yeah, I like the sauces. They just don't ever have the ones that I want.
Well, the one I take that back. I've tried one because Brett Wilkin,
Oh, the
Brett,
butcher.
I think he still lives in St. Lucie. Yeah, he had the butcher sauce. But yeah, Brett cooked a steak and I ate some of that and it was good. I did
Yeah,
like it. So whatever he's doing, I mean, I like his sauces. I've never had the cream of rice, but I was never one of those guys who, to me, cream of rice, I would put like for 100 grams of cream of rice, I'd put two, sometimes three if I was feeling the sweet tooth, packs of Splenda, and then I would put cinnamon. And that
yeah,
was my cream of rice. Or depending on what type of protein powder I had, I would leave both the Splenda and the cinnamon out, and I would just mix. I would cook the cream of rice, and I'd leave it just enough like wetness or moisture about
yeah,
it. So I mix the protein and it comes out at the consistency that I like. But like for me, I didn't even the first few years of bodybuilding, I was actually buying, the little orange box of cream of rice.
yeah,
I make my own by just grinding rice down. I
yeah,
put it
yeah.
in
Done
a
that
grinder
too.
blender. So for me, it was like I was going through a box of cream of rice a day. So if I were to buy that much cream of rice through, it's called Bowl of Games, right?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
So there's that one. I think JP's got one, but who was the original? Sean.
Well, they got the
Uh,
Pride foods. I like the Pride one. I
right,
don't
yeah,
eat it.
that's Sean. Sean's
Yeah.
company.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that one came out, and his actually does. It tastes good. Like
Yeah.
it's made from monk fruit to get rid of like the artificial sweeteners.
Yeah.
It does taste good, and I'll give him that. And if you're one of those guys that you thrive on that flavor and you don't have a problem spending the money, no shot towards Ross, but because I've never tried Bowl of Games. But the Pride Foods was actually really good when I did try it.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, I'm like, for the money that I got to spend on this, though, unless you're sponsoring me and giving it to me,
Yeah,
then I'm going to be
exactly.
spending like $80 a week on cream of rice. Maybe not that much, but they're like $7 or $8 a bag, right?
Those when the Pride foods, or are you talking about the
Yeah.
normal one? I mean,
No,
it
the
was like
Pride Foods.
$30 for like 30 servings. So it's like it's not that cheap because you're doing two
Oh,
servings
well,
at a
then, yeah, I
time.
would have been spending probably, I would have been at least $50 to $80 a week in just cream of rice
Yeah.
if I was doing it like that. So
I
that's
mean,
why, to me, it was like the cost is not worth what I'm having to do here.
yeah, that's like my like I that's the meal that always goes down the easiest. We just introduced like tren a little bit. It hasn't really fucked up my digestion or anything yet, but it's like there's been a lot of times in the past where we're already doing two. I usually don't do two right away. I usually stick to one, but usually once I hop on tren, like I have to replace a meal with that just because it just tends to digest so much easier. And you were talking, we were talking about my prep. You were saying that you like hearing a lot of people aren't like using tren right now. What were you saying about that?
Not like, so a couple of my clients would vouch because like they'll tell me in the beginning, like, hey man, I want to do this without trend. I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Like I have no problem with that. So like when one person mentioned it, I was like, okay, cool. And then I hear more and more and more people, it's like, I don't want to use trend. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. But now I'm just like, okay, you didn't write this shit down. Like I usually put it like, like I'll copy the message, I make the changes, I put it in bold, and I send that.
Yeah.
But moving forward, I'm gonna put like at the bottom of that section where I have like the supplements on it, I'm gonna put like parentheses like no trend use.
Yeah.
That way because again, I probably got 10 to 15 people right now that say they don't want to use trend. And I'm
Wow.
perfectly fine with that. I think it's a great drug, but it's also not for every person. So,
Yeah.
you can get the job done without it. And I won't name drop said person here or said athlete, but there's a guy who has been at the Olympia at least 6 or 7 times that I know personally. And he's a big guy too. He's over 250 on stage, probably upwards in the 270, 275 range.
Oh wow.
And he doesn't use Tren. He said Tren and Halo is off limits because this was a personal conversation. He told me the dosages of his other compounds, they were a little on the high side, but he said he refuses Tren and he refuses Halo. He said, because I cannot manage my temper on those drugs.
Yeah.
He said, I become very violent and I don't want to be that way towards my wife and my family. He's like, so I won't use them. He goes, and if that means I'm going to be a lesser bodybuilder, then I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
And I mean, I can
Totally.
respect that too. I mean,
Yeah.
if the side effects are too much for you, then don't do it. I mean,
I feel like
there's no plan. It's like, if you do this plan, you're going to look like this, do this plan. No, it doesn't work like that.
yeah.
But a lot of people think so like, when you see a celebrity that's like got like 160 pounds of muscle, everybody's like trend, trend, trend. I'm like,
Right.
really? That's the first thing you think it takes trend to look like that? Like that's what comes to my head.
So what are they doing instead? Are they just blasting mast or what's the thought process?
No, as long as like they're good with EQ, Primo, Masteron, or MPP. I don't use MPP in prep, but like as long as they're good with those drugs, I just simply replace it. I'm not like I don't double or triple the dosage. I mean, we all know that like 300 milligrams of Primo is not going to compare to 300 milligrams of. I'm not like, oh, well, then we need to do a gram of Primo. No, I don't do that. I literally try to keep the dosage as low as I can within range or within reason, just to make sure that I couldn't live with myself if I like cause someone
Yeah.
stroke or heart attack or anything like that. The day that like you see me retire from or coaching, that's probably what happened. I was like, damn, like you screwed somebody up. But like I try to be as cautious as I possibly can with that. So for me, I'll end up having them do their test, and that's going to be a base. That's going to vary. Like, one guy may at 400, next guy may be at 12 to 1500. And then after that, your primo may be at 400, it may be at 700, depending on from one person to the next.
Did you ever do like a show without Trin?
I don't think I did, to be honest with you. I'm pretty
No, I
sure
mean I
I
don't think most
trained.
people do. It's I mean it's really the game changer. I mean there's a reason it's mythical. Like it does fuck you up like mentally sometimes. But I think about Samson, right? You heard him talk about his Trin use at all?
I heard it was like 2 grams, wasn't it?
Oh, I don't know about that, but I know. So he wasn't taking Tren. Milos would,
Oh,
always, would so Milos would talk about how he wouldn't do Tren, and so he got sixth at the Olympia, not on Tren. And then they said, okay, let's do Tren finally. He gets on Tren, he fucking wins the Arnold a few months later, and then he wins the Olympia the next year.
oh, okay. Someone was okay. Maybe it's one of Milos's other guys, or maybe this was all bullshit and people just got their words screwed up. But I was reading somewhere that I thought it was Samson that was like 2 grams of tren a week, and I'm like, dude, I
They say
couldn't
he
even
does pretty
handle.
low dosage. He looks like the kind of guy who could do lower. I mean, just genetically.
Oh yeah, he's absolutely blessed. I mean, you look at his before pictures; he was kind of like he was not like a bodybuilder, but he was in pretty damn good shape before he ever started bodybuilding. He played rugby,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I was thinking of soccer, but you're right. It was rugby. I'm thinking of that one picture that you're probably thinking of.
Yeah, he was kind of small, but if you look at the details, he still had it back then too.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know what his dosages are or aren't. I mean, that's very subjective from one person to the next. As a matter of fact, I had a new encounter, something I've never experienced before with coaching people. So I have a guy, I'm predicting him to get his pro card this year. I'm praying and hoping that he does. It's going to be our first stab at it, and it's going to be our first contest prep together. But I do believe in him. I believe he's got the potential and the effort. So he does his blood work, and I started him. And this is a guy that's over 300 pounds as well. I had him on 750 milligrams of test, and his blood work came back, and his test was like 250 to 300 nanogram per deciliter. And I'm like, well, congratulations, buddy. You're natural at this
Yeah.
point. You're not taking anything. This is your natural hormone levels. Like, you're not on anything. Like,
Yeah.
all your junk is fake. I was like, time to find another source. I was like, I hate that for you. So we actually prolonged our season because of this. So he links up with another brand, another guy, I don't know who it is, whatever. And then I had him run a gamma test, and it came back at like, I want to say 500 to 600 nanogram per deciliter. And I'm
And
like,
no other compounds?
no, no, no. We had a couple of other compounds in too. And I'm like, what in the hell is going on? So we do have a mutual friend. And again, I can't name drop all this because we're talking like the drugs. I won't put a name to a
Yeah.
face on that kind of stuff. We have a mutual friend, and he knows this mutual friend is how me and him linked up. So he goes to this mutual friend and he's like, hey, I'm having a problem getting real stuff. Like he has the blood work to back it up too. And I'm seeing it as well. And I wrote it off. I was like, your shit's counterfeit, man. And I was like, I don't know what you're probably shooting olive oil. Like, I hate to say that to you, but that's probably what it is. So he goes to this other guy, and the guy said, okay, I'm going to give you my person stash. And I saw this other guy's levels on TRT is over 1,000 on 200 milligrams of test. He's like right at like 1,060, 70 range on 200 milligrams. So he gives he gives my client his stuff, and he runs his labs still low. And I'm like, well, I know it's not counterfeit. Like, I
Yeah.
know this other dude's not over 300 pounds
Yeah.
sitting here, him with counterfeit stuff. And I was like, I don't get it. So, like, I know for a fact he's got legit stuff. And I asked him, I was like, this is something abnormal and this is something I don't recommend. I said, but in your case, I said, I realistically would like to see your testosterone levels higher than 600, 700. I was like, are you cool running 2 grams to 2,500 milligrams of test? I was like, that's a shitload of testosterone. I was like, you're going to be the highest guy I've ever done this with. It's like, but for whatever reason, your body's not absorbing. Like, and I actually asked him that too. I was like, when you take your shot, how long are you waiting to get the labs? It turns out he was microdosing it too. So he was taking a shot every day, and the levels still came back in the shitter. And I couldn't believe that. So we ended up just bumping his dose up, and I'll say that's the highest I've ever put anyone at. And I almost did not feel comfortable doing it.
It's
But
weird, right? Yeah, but
the
you gotta
blood
listen to the
work,
blood work.
like
Yeah.
outside of the testosterone, the blood work's immaculate. He's perfect in that sense. The blood pressure's fine, glucose is fine. He's as healthy as a horse from what I can see. So I didn't see the reason to hold him back on that. I told him, it was like, you're basically competing like
Yeah.
you're natural according to your hormone levels.
And so he put on all of his size that way in the past?
He came to me at like 290, 295 pounds. So like I did not build his physique per se. He hadn't competed in I think 2 or 3 years, and then me and him linked up, and I saw it. As soon as I saw the pictures, I was like, potential. Like that was
Yeah.
immediate. I was like, he's got what it takes. It's just a matter of whether or not we can put it all together to complete this. And we started working together, and I'm thinking out loud, like he wasn't progressing at the rate that I wanted him or that I expected him to progress at, because he had been like, I think he had been on TRT for like a year and a half. Like he hadn't done just due to some personal complications, if memory serves me right. He hadn't been on, so he had been just chilling at almost like 300 pounds for like a year and a half. And I was like, oh, good. As soon as we hop back on, you're going to explode.
Uh,
And I was expecting this guy to get to like 320, 330. He's rather lean, so I probably set that bar a little too high on my own expectations, to be fair.
well, you
But
probably
I
expected
heard
him
he's
to have a
not.
normal response, not this crazy.
Yeah. Well, I expected at least 15 to 20 pounds on this.
Yeah.
We didn't get any of that. I still think he's going to compete between 260 and 270 this year.
Damn, that's for his
So,
first show. How tall is he? It's a
no,
big
no,
boy.
no. It's not his first show, and he is a little bit on the taller
Oh,
side
his
of
first
things.
pro qualifier though, right?
Yeah, it's going to be his first. No, I think it's like his second national show that
Oh,
he's
okay.
done. But he is a little taller, and there is a few holes in his physique still. But because of that structure, I think if I can bring him in diced at like 260, 270, they may be more complete bodybuilders there as far as like muscularity. But I think if you factor in his actual size, you factor in his shape, his symmetry, and as long as we're 100% dialed in, I think he could outweigh like a 5'9", 235 pound guy. I think he could
Yeah.
out because I think he's like 6'2".
Oh yeah. Yeah. You
Yeah, so
know,
he's on the taller side.
do you remember Seth Shaw? Was that his name? No, not Seth
Seth, yeah,
Shaw.
yeah,
No, who am I?
Seth.
Big Slank. Who is that? Is that
That's
who?
Seth.
Okay. He had a really cool physique. He won the overall at North
Yeah,
Americans, and he
I
kind
was
of,
there when he did it.
yeah, he kind of didn't really do anything that much as a pro, right? Like that was a physique that was. I don't know. You made me think of it. I don't know if he looks like that at all, but I was thinking of somebody who's tall with really good structure, maybe missing a tiny bit of muscle in certain spots. Is that similar?
I actually worked with Seth for a very short period of time right after that.
Yeah, yeah. Because I know he
Um,
was tight with Quint, and you're buddies with Quint too, right? I know they did some stuff together.
I talk to him when I can. Yes,
Yeah,
Quint's always been really cool, really chill with me. I like the guy. I didn't know him and Seth were friends, but I'm not that deep into it.
yeah. He trained him a
With
lot.
Seth continued to get a little bit bigger, but again, his body, I think we all have a genetic limit of how big we can get. And I think Seth was pushing that genetic limit. Like for him, with his height and his structure, he was going to have to be like 270 on stage in order
Yeah,
to like be competitive as a pro. And Seth has a hard time being able to bring both the conditioning and not look like a string bean. Like when he's in shape, he's flat, and when he's not in shape, he's full. So it's like trying to find that balance with him was very difficult. And I never prepped him. As a matter of fact, I really don't know what the hell happened in his that prep for North Americans because if you remember, there was drama that followed immediately after that.
Oh no, I don't remember.
Well, there was a lot of shit that was said. I'll try to summarize it really quickly, but he was working with Jansen at the time,
Yeah,
and from what I'm going to defend Matt a little bit here. I'm not throwing Seth under the bus because I understand Seth's concerns, but I don't think he was expressing those concerns to Matt because, to the best of my knowledge, Matt would make XYZ change. Like, say he goes from 100 carbs to 200 grams of carbs, and Seth was doing more than that. So, like, for example, if we're like 3 days out with you and I say, hey, we're going to, instead of doing 200 grams of carbs, we're going to do 350 today. And I see your pictures tomorrow and I'm like, holy shit, it worked. So we're going to do 350 again because it worked. Why am I going to change something that's not broken, right? Well, if you're actually doing 700 or 800 grams and you didn't tell me that, why would I tell you to do 700 or 800 grams, right? Because I didn't know that's what you were doing.
yeah,
Like, there was a lack of communication between the two. And he kind of made it seem like Matt didn't want him to do the show, and he kind of forced it anyway. And he ends up winning the overall. And then Seth he didn't say the words, he kind of implied like Matt brushed him to the side. And then when he wins, Matt was happy to get in the interview and talk about how he helped him and stuff, like take
yeah,
credit. So there was a big argument, big dilemma. But at the end of the day, I actually side with Matt. And I think Matt, because again, Matt can't make changes if he doesn't know exactly what you're doing. If you're
yeah,
doing stuff behind, if you're doing stuff behind his back, that's on you. It's kind of like, and I'm not throwing Seth under the bus because I feel like he was a rookie, and I feel like he may have been a little intimidated and he didn't want to speak up. But you have to speak up. I
yeah,
mean, who cares? It's your coach, but you're still paying him. You can still
yeah,
speak up to it. You can just be like, hey, what you're doing is not working, man. Like, we need to do this. This is how I feel. This is how I look. Or explain to him, be like, hey, I didn't do 200 grams of carbs. I actually did 600. I just want to be clear with you. That way they can at least agree to disagree or collab and make it work, one or the other, rather than like both people just accusing each other of, false
Yeah.
accusation.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was that.
Yeah. He had a physique that I thought could have been really, really cool if he had
If
just,
Seth had the ability to put on, now I will say this with Seth, but like I'm a high volume guy. Seth couldn't handle the volume that I wanted him to do. Like, and I don't think he was like a pussy about it because he would puke. Like he'd physically
yeah.
puke on like arm day.
Oh
So
shit,
like
just on arms.
if the guy's puking, it's like if he just told me, "Oh, I'm tired, I'm groggy," I'd be like, "Suck it up, Buttercup. This is bodybuilding, man. Ain't nobody told you it's going to be easy."
Yeah, exactly.
But if you're actually puking, I'm going to say he's probably exerting himself to the point that he's there. His body just can't do it.
Yeah.
Now that being said, he ended up going lower volume, and I think John Quint handled his training on that
Yeah.
afterward. But he just didn't get to the size that was going to be necessary for him to win. Like realistically, if Seth Shaw could have added another 30 pounds of muscle and got in shape, he'd probably be Mr. Olympia right now
Yeah.
because he has that little tiny ass waist,
He had good
giant
quads.
frame, and it's
Yeah.
an X frame too. He doesn't have a distended stomach, and he's got a good personality for the sport too. Like he's got a like an out there
Yeah,
personality.
he's kind of wild. You know who I thought should have won a show was Jamie Johal. Do you remember him before he retired? The
Jamie what?
Giant. I always
Oh,
change his last.
oh,
Jamie Christian, Jamie Johal. I don't know what ended up going by,
okay.
but
I know who you're talking about. Yeah, Jamie the
dude,
Giant.
I think he got second on one of his last pro shows. I think they should have just given it to him because he's to have that much muscle and that kind of a frame. That is insane. He looked so nutty. I
I
think it was
would
like the
say
Arnold
seeing him in
UK.
person ridiculous.
Yeah, I never saw him in person, but I would have. He's doing like American Gladiator or European Gladiators now or some shit, probably making way better money, living a way better
Oh,
life.
that's exactly what someone like him should be doing. I mean,
Yeah,
look at like Martin Ford. Martin doesn't have anywhere near the structure of like what Jamie's got.
yeah,
But like Martin's in movies and stuff. Like if I was like 6'5" and up, and I was like a big guy and a bodybuilder, I wouldn't be trying to be a bodybuilder. I'd be trying to get into Hollywood.
oh yeah,
That's
yeah.
what I would be.
Martin's in a ton of, and then that the other big dude who was just in the Reacher. What's that guy's name? The Polish guy. You know what I'm talking about? He's like
I
7 feet
don't.
tall.
Oh, is he really that big?
Yeah, he's huge. The Dutch. He's Dutch. Dutch. I forget his name. His handle's the Dutch Giant or something like that on
Oh, that's
Instagram.
Reacher.
No, he's
I
in
know
Reacher.
this.
He's one of the bad guys in Reacher.
Okay,
So
okay.
so he makes the guy who plays Reacher look like a little bitch, and that guy's huge too.
Because I see that guy like I've got to learn to not comment and not read certain things that pops across like my Facebook because then it just gives me more of it. But like his physique is unless he's actually like 300 pounds in real life, at the picture his physique looks mediocre
The
to
guy who's
me.
playing Reacher?
Yeah,
Yeah, but
like I'm not
you're one of the
impressed.
best bodybuilders ever looking at him. For like a normie, he looks fucking awesome. Somebody who's not
For a normal
Mr.
guy, he's absolutely great. But like, I'm just saying, again, unless he's a guy that's like 6'5", 300 pounds, and I don't know that, but just looking
He's
at the
like six
picture,
four. He's a big boy.
okay, then maybe he is on gear. I don't
Oh,
know.
he's
Like,
definitely on gear. He's on TRT, he said, but he upped that shit for this. There's no way he's pushing 125 MIGs, getting ready to fucking be bashing heads in on TV. You gotta be pretty yoked for
I
that.
just like read the comments, and people's like, "Yeah, he takes that daily, this, and this." I'm like, guys, he's not that big, but I didn't know he was actually that big because the pictures, he doesn't look big when he's by himself in pictures.
Yeah. No, he's a big boy. Alan
But
Rickman,
yeah,
I
if you
think his
stand
name is.
beside him, then that's probably a whole different story.
Yeah, yeah, that's why it was funny to have they had that Polish dude because that they were the whole thing in that show is he's like the biggest guy around, and then there he's like just looking straight up at that dude. It's like the Conan with Will and Arnold. You ever watch
Yeah,
that one?
that guy is actually big. Like there's a picture of him and Eddie Hall, the
Yeah,
Dutch giant, and
yeah,
like Eddie's kind of looking up to him too. And I've met Eddie in person. Eddie's a big motherfucker. I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah,
I mean, granted, Eddie's got the mask to go with it too, but
yeah.
like I'm literally looking at Eddie like this, like shaking his hand. I feel like I'm like pretty much shaking like at chest level with the guy.
I know. And you see he does so much stuff with all the strong guys. You don't realize how huge they are because he's like next to Brian Shaw, who's even bigger. Did you
Yeah, I
see?
met
Did you see
Brian
his
as well.
fight? Did you see Eddie's
Oh,
fight? Like,
Pujanowski.
yeah, yeah, he fucked him up. I was surprised.
Yeah, I was a little shocked as well. I do think the back of the punch or the back of the head shot probably did give it an advantage, but I want to go on and say I think Eddie was going to win anyways.
Yeah. He's just got
Like
that
leading into
mentality.
that fight, I did not believe that leading into it. I literally said I feel bad for him. Like he's going to get hurt. He's going to get hurt really bad in this. That was my thoughts. But like Eddie didn't really disclose much of his training. Remember how he fought Thor? He was
He got,
constantly posting about boxing and stuff.
yeah,
He didn't really post a lot about the MMA fight. But it
yeah.
turns out, like I saw about 2 weeks before the fight, he was training with Tom Aspinall.
Oh
I
yeah,
was
there we
like,
go.
okay. I was
He's not
like,
fucking
now Eddie,
around.
you got my attention now. And he let Tom kick. He let Tom kick him in the leg, and it like almost took him down.
I'm
But the
sure
leg
he
kick
probably didn't even kick
fifty
him like
percent.
full clip. Yeah, I was about to say it must have been like a little baby kick for him.
I think it was at 50% with the pad as well. Like you
Yeah.
have like an 8-inch pad on your quad, and Eddie almost went down from that kick. And I'm like, okay, he may not be a seasoned fighter, but he has a little experience now.
Yeah.
And Marius has more experience, but at the same time, when people would look at Eddie, the first thing I would think of, like, Eddie's the exception to the rule. Like, if if I just saw Eddie in public, I'd be like, I ain't worried about you, dude. I can outrun your ass. But no, you can't because he's got
He's a
endurance and
fucking
stamina.
athlete. Yeah. He
Yeah,
can
he would
swim
probably
across
chase
the
me down on
fucking
foot, but
ocean. Yeah.
do what?
He can swim across like the fucking ocean. Like he's like a fucking great
Yeah,
swimmer.
it's impressive as hell the stuff that he can actually do. And I'm sure you saw that drama that went on with the guys outside his
Oh
house
yeah,
when they.
I saw him chasing. That's what made me think about the running. He's fucking moving full clip.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that was some BS, man. Like people slandered him. Like if someone came to your house at like 9 o'clock at night and your kids are there and your wife's intimidated, you're gonna step outside and say something to them too. Like just
Yeah.
because he's a celebrity, it doesn't give you the right to come just wait outside his house and rev your engines.
Yeah. He's the kind of guy too. You can tell you just don't want to fuck with anyway. Those guys are nuts. It's like,
Yeah, I think Eddie's a nice guy, but I think if he flips the switch,
yeah.
Eddie can go from a nice guy to serial killer real fast without intending to do it because of his
Yeah.
strength and power.
Well, like he said, he
Like,
just blacked out. Like the opposite of you. He said he just goes rage and doesn't see anything, which that's kind of
well,
scary.
I've never had anyone like intimidate my family. I mean, I might be a little different. I mean, I may come out shooting if someone's intimidating my
Right?
family, trying to hurt my family. Of course, they
Did
weren't
you?
trying to hurt his family, but it's more harassment than anything.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta, yeah, you're a
I
dude. You
watched this
just,
video. Like, I usually don't watch full 30-minute long videos because I don't have the patience for it. But I did sit down and I watched that video, and it was very heartbreaking when he said his daughter was afraid to go outside because someone was flying a drone over top of his garden.
yeah.
Like they knew it was his place, and it freaked his daughter out to the point she doesn't want to be outside. I'm like, man, that is fucked up. Like
Yeah, dude.
celebrities deserve, even if you don't like them, they still deserve privacy just like anyone else. But people tend to like to pick on that because they like the attention. They want to thrive on it. Like they want to be the one who pokes the bear, and then they want to cry when the bear pokes back.
Play
Right? It's just
victim.
like you openly admitted you went to a pub hoping to see him. You're telling your 10-year-old kid that supposedly it was the kid's birthday. You're telling this kid that it's okay to stalk somebody, more or
Yeah, what the
less.
fuck?
And then because he doesn't show up at the pub, you go to his damn house with 3 cars with blacked out windows at nighttime and start revving your engines. Yeah, I would call that poking the bear.
Yeah, for
Like
sure.
if he got a hold of you all, I would have been fully supportive. I'd be like, free Eddie.
Yeah,
He didn't kill those people. Like I would have been free Eddie all day. I would have supported that GoFundMe.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. Me too. Are you thinking are you guys trying to have kids at all? Is that in your future?
No, no, I'm not having any kids, man.
No kids? For sure?
100%.
I mean, once you
Well,
get what
I can vouch and say that for an absolute fact because I actually got fixed a long time ago.
I can always undo that if you wanted to. But
I'm
yeah.
10 years deep, man.
Yeah, I mean, I
I'm
never
10
wanted
years
kids
deep.
ever. And then once I had them, I
It
was like,
was
"Oh, this is pretty cool."
I,
But
I think if I could rewind on that a little bit, I probably would not have made that decision. I just watched 3 or 4 of my close friends. Like I saw like turmoil that they went through, like having a kid, they got married and they got a divorce, and then it just like their whole life just got flipped upside down. And then I just thought to myself, like, I don't want that. And then not to mention when I was younger, I had a zero patience. Like a kid, I would have been a really shitty father in my 20s if I was a bodybuilder.
yeah, for sure.
Like I don't think I would have been the father to a kid the way that my dad was for me, and I wouldn't want that. And I also didn't want to give up my lifestyle either. So I just felt like, when you're in your 20s, and I talk to a lot of young kids on a daily basis, through bodybuilding. And all of them think they got it figured out when they're 20 years old or 25 years old. You think you got it figured out. You don't know shit. You don't know what's going to happen to you next year or the next decade. Like, a lot can change. But like, I had this image in my head of like, you're gonna compete till you're 40, you're gonna retire at 40, and then you're gonna travel the world like Jay Cutler does. Because at the time, when I got my pro card, I would see Jay in Spain and Germany and
Yeah.
Russia, and I was like, that's gonna be your life. That's what you're gonna do. Win the Olympia or not win the Olympia. That's what you're gonna do forever. You're never gonna be home. You don't need a kid because you're not gonna be a good father. So now that things have changed in my life, I actually think a kid would probably be a good idea for me, but that's not something that I'm really interested in like trying to go through at this point.
Yeah. I think you would could be a really good dad. I mean, obviously I don't know everything about you, but I think your personality type right now could you wouldn't raise one of these pussy kids that everyone's
No,
crazy nowadays.
no, I've had that conversation with a lot of people. Like, my kid is going to get raised like the military. Like, you are going to be respectful. You are going to work. I'm not going to take lip off you. You're going to take the trash out. You're going to do the yard. As soon as you're 16, you're going to get a job. I'm going to teach this kid how to live on his own. You're not going to be a 25-year-old sitting in my house smoking weed and eating my food and no job.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I see that all the time out here. And these kids are never off the tee where I'm from. But oh man, I really appreciate it, dude. I'll let you go. I know you're getting ready for your fishing trip and you're tired. I'll let you recover a little bit. Thanks a lot for coming on. So for the cow, real quick, who did you give me your top four in order?
Reagan, I'm going to pick Reagan to win. And what was that guy, Santos?
Leonardo Sandros and then Bruno and then
Bruno.
Leonardo. Yeah,
I'm going to go Bruno in second on this one.
yeah,
I
me
mean,
too.
there's the possibility if Reagan slips, Reagan could lose that. But
Yeah,
what I saw in New York, I think he's got enough. I can't imagine he's stupid enough to be eating a buffet right now as we're
no,
speaking.
yeah.
Like, as long as he's not doing anything stupid, I think Reagan will have this one in the bag. Uh, Actually, I take that back on Santos. I think Sasan could come in second.
Yeah,
And I actually
yeah,
hate that for Sasan because like he's been so close, but
so
like
many times.
every show that he's done, he's competed against like top guys in the world, and that's who he's getting beat by. It's not like he's getting beat by rookies or nobodies.
Yeah,
Like, he's chose the hard. He's
he
chose the
picked the
hardest.
wrong part of the season to start. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like this was his comeback year. Like, okay, so Reagan, Sasan, Santos, and then the Leonardo guys probably
Yeah.
coming.
I'm gonna do the same, but I'm gonna put Bruno ahead of Sauce, even though I love Sauce. But Bruno's back is so good, and that's kind of Sass's weakest area. So I'm probably and
It
he's
is.
just big. They're big. Like Regan and Bruno are big fucking dudes, whereas Sass is a little bit just smaller frame, so he might get
He's a
lost.
much more petite guy.
Yeah,
Oh, I hate to use petite and guy in the same sentence, but he's a
we
smaller
know what you
person.
mean. Yeah, 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 exactly. I'm
I
sure
mean,
no one would
I
look at
think
him and think
that
petite.
he's probably what, like 215, 220 ish.
Yeah, I can't. I forgot. I trained one of his best friend. He told me what he weighed on stage. I forget what it was. It was a little heavier than that, but not much. And
Okay.
he has such a cool look. I would love to see him on Olympia stage, especially because he's another guy who came back and looks better than ever now. I mean, he was gone for years, you know.
Yeah, there's one thing that I would like to see him do though, and I think this is going to be the difference in him making it to Olympia and not making it. He's really hard and he's really on from the front, but from the backside, he could still use. And when I say a little bit, I literally mean just a little bit. I'm talking maybe like 3, 4 more pounds.
Yeah,
If he could come down that 3 to 4 more pounds to get his hamstrings and glutes just a little bit more dialed in, along with his lower back, which his lower back actually looks pretty good.
yeah,
But like, if he could just bring that area a little bit tighter, I think it would greatly change his overall stage appearance, especially from behind, because his lack of back would be compensated for his superb conditioning.
yeah, yeah.
At
And I
least
think
that's what I think. I mean, granted, yes, when he's standing next to the New York Pro lineup, it ain't going to be enough to beat Nick. It's not going to be enough to beat a Derek Lunsford, nothing like that. But it would be enough to beat Reagan.
yeah, it
I think it
could.
could. If
It'll
he
be
if
good.
he showed up looking like and he's got the ability to do so. I think he's just trying to play the fullness card a little bit. He doesn't want to bring it down anymore. I see so many people doing that. But if he could come down just a little bit more, I think he could take out a bigger guy like Reagan.
Yeah, I mean, he almost beat
But right
Andrew.
now, do what?
I mean, he was like 1 point from Andrew, you know?
Yeah. So I mean, I think realistically, Sasan could win this show, but I don't think he. I feel like he. If I was coaching him, I would say, "Here's what we're going to do. You're going to skip Cal. We're going to push hard for 3 weeks and get this 100%, and then we pick a show,
Yeah.
or we pick a show in 3 to 4 weeks." I just realistically think with 1 week in between shows, there's not going to be a lot of time to improve and still be able to peak for the show. You got
Yeah.
like 3 days, maybe four max that you have to actually physically work with. And those last 2 or 3 days, like you're not burning fat the last 2 or 3 days. And I think he just has a smidge, and I mean just a little bit, because we've seen him harder before he had his little his break, his hiatus from the sport.
And that'll be his fourth show. So I mean, he might be getting worn down at this point too.
And yeah, that could be a thing. So
Yeah.
I hope, I really do want to see that guy actually make it to the Olympia, because he has a unique looking physique.
Yeah. I mean, he's got the coolest look from the front. That most muscular, those ab and thighs. That's just so much detail. That's
He's got
really,
good muscle insertion, and he's got density too, like the
yeah.
striations.
Yeah. Like
Like
you
his
could put your
muscle
fingers in
density
them.
doesn't do what?
So you like put your fingers in his leg
Yeah,
striations,
no,
you
no kidding. Yeah.
know?
Especially like through his chest, like it's like
Yeah.
guitar string.
Yeah. Well, awesome,
But
brother. Appreciate you taking the time, man. Thanks a lot. We'll link up soon. I'll shoot you my pictures.
okay, sounds good, man.
All right, cool, brother. Appreciate it.
All right, talk to you soon.
All right, take it easy.